how to hyperlapse on a drone. So usually when people think of drones, they think of getting photography with it, or they think of getting video footage with it, but they very seldom think of getting a hyperlapse with the drone. Now, a hyperlapse is exactly what you just saw. It's a time lapse, but the time lapse is moving. Everything you see in this tutorial was shot on the DJI Mavic Air, but honestly, this tutorial applies to any DJI drone that you have. Okay, so once you have your drone app open, change the settings to photo, and then we'll go to our little menu down here. Okay, now make sure that it's not on auto, but it's on manual. And then just set the adjustments accordingly to what you think looks good. And then from there, we'll go to, okay, so now we'll go to photo, and we'll go to interval. And you wanna make sure that it's set for 5 seconds. Okay, make sure that your image is set to RAW. And the reason being is that RAW gives you a lot more latitude to work with when you color correct your photos together. And so it'll make your photos look a lot more crisp, a lot more rich. And so I highly recommend shooting in RAW. Once that's done, we'll go to this menu here. Now I can't take off my drone because I'm indoors right now, but essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to tap fly. Once you take off your drone and you take it up in the air and you get it situated, what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a straight path for it to fly. And then what you're gonna do in tap fly is you're going to just select a spot on the screen, and there should be a little green icon that says go, and then you're going to press go. So you'll press that, and then what you'll do is you'll set the speed. I mean, you can set it pretty low. I'd say the lower the better probably. So you could set it for like 2.5, which is the lowest setting. If you want to go a little bit farther, you can set it up to about 4 miles an hour. I probably wouldn't go any higher than that, because then your drone will get really far away and you'll lose the signal. So I'd probably keep it around that, and then just let it fly for about anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. And then as it starts going in that direction, go ahead and start your interval. And then it will automatically start taking the photos. So you just literally just kind of sit back and you relax and just let the drone do its thing. All right, let's dive into my computer and I'll show you how to edit a hyperlapse. All right, so I'm gonna do all of my editing for my hyperlapse in Adobe After Effects. There's a lot of different programs you can use. You can use Premiere, you can use Lightroom to do a little bit of color tweaking, but I find that After Effects kind of combines the best of both worlds. It combines editing and color tweaking to make things really seamless. And so to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our project window pane and we're going to double click. Okay, so now we're going to go to the folder where our shots are at. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my thumbnails and I'm going to select the ones that I want. So essentially we want to start, with this one up here and then go all the way down to the 0576 file. So these are all of our raw DNG files here. So I'm going to select all of them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to where this little checkbox is here, where it says camera raw sequence, and I'm going to check that. And then I'm going to click import. Okay, so this right here is just showing us a sample image of one image that's going to be in our sequence. Now, this is what I really like about After Effects is that, you know, you have this little window pane that comes up and it allows you to adjust some really basic settings on the image to make the image look more vibrant. And so you have your exposure, contrast, saturation, just all these different things. So let's go ahead and let's just kind of mess around with this to kind of get it where we want to. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So now we'll click OK. Okay, so it just brought it into the project. So that one selected there is the one that we just brought in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to right click on it and we're going to go to Interpret Footage and select Main. Okay, now there's this little setting called Assume this frame rate right here. And right now it's set to 30 frames per second. Now it depends whatever your project's in. So if your edit is going to be at 30 frames a second, then keep it at 30. But for me personally, I prefer 24. So I'm going to set it to 24. I'll click OK. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this and I'm going to drag it down to where you see this little square down in the corner here. So what this will do is once it's selected there, like you see how it gets highlighted blue there, I'm going to let go. And then it's going to create a new composition. Okay, so there's our image there. Okay, so let's go ahead and render it and just kind of see what it looks like. So I'll just put it at a third, just so you can kind of get the idea. And we'll see what it looks like just when we do that. So we'll render it out. Okay, so that's actually not too bad. You will notice though that the color settings were changed a couple times at the beginning just for the first few frames. And so we probably want to start it about right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this forward, and I'm also going to drag my mark in and my mark out forward. Okay, so there's our shot right there. Now right away, that looks pretty dang smooth, just right out of the box. But we want to make it a little bit smoother. We're going to apply what's called the warp stabilizer effect to our clip. So I'm going to drag it down to my clip here, and I'm going to let go. And then it's going to analyze the clip, so just give it a couple minutes. Okay, wow, that looks butter smooth. Check it out. Now, normally you can get a shot like this just flying your drone on video, but you'll notice what's really cool about the hyperlapse is it's even more, I don't know how to describe it. It has like a different feel to it because you have the light moving across the mountains and you also have the clouds moving in the sky. And there's an interesting depth perception going on back here. It just almost seems like a parallax shot that you see in like an animated movie almost. It just seems almost like it's animated, but it's not. So it just gives a really awesome, cool effect there. All right, guys, so there we have it. There's our hyperlapse. Be sure to like and subscribe to see more content coming up.